Hello and welcome to the Janky-B-Cast. Despite my professional-sounding demeanour, the podcast shall sound nothing like this, as all participating are a bunch of idiots. This podcast, I give two of my friends a challenge each, one to play a game, the other to watch a movie, both of my choosing. I then have them sum up and review their experience with the game and movie, after which they are tasked with finding the connection between the two. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Janky-B-Cast. This has the pre-recorded intro will undoubtedly have said, a podcast in which I get two of my good friends to watch a film and play a game. And the specific twist is that they are obviously linked. Say hello, Sam.
Hello.
And say hello, Foley.
Hi.
I resisted saying hello, Sam. I'm proud.
I'm very proud. I was, to be honest, even worse, I was expecting Foley to go, hi, when I said Sam, and for Sam to say hi when I said Foley, and I was dreading that would be the specific outcome for this one. As you can see, we are very professional. Oh, thank you very much. We are very professional, totally.
Apologies for the mic quality in this episode. There have been unfortunate technical difficulties.
Okay, so how are you guys doing?
Yeah, not so bad.
Good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Living life. How are you been?
I mean, I've been all right. I've got a segment called What Rhys has been doing, and I will elaborate on that later. Because last time I had like a line of notes of just general stuff, because it had been, over a year since the last one, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Now it's been like a month and a little bit, and I have a paragraph. You know, considering that this segment's supposed to be called Random Bomb Fluff, as I've called it, me talking about what's going to happen in a later segment doesn't feel quite so appropriate. So, Foley, how's your job gone?
Oh, yeah, it's doing good. I say just serving the public.
Serving
That's for
the public.
living the life. Yeah.
Yes. And Sam, how's your job gone?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
God, I've been real fucking busy at my job. I can't remember if I'm supposed to be swearing in this podcast or not, but I've already started. So.
Well, I'm sure.
We're going to do that up.
I probably have in one of them, but probably not in the first, 5 minutes. Normally I think they stay until a little bit later. But it's not the first minute.
Yeah.
So as the podcast is, it's funny because it's called the Janky-B-Cast. And as of the moment, it hasn't quite lived up to that name in its entirety, because only Sam has had a janky game as such yet. And Foley's not really had a real dodgy B movie yet, just because I was trying to ease the two of them in as such. So,
Yeah. Really easy
Thinking
into this
things are
one.
changed.
oh my god, I was not expecting that kind of reaction to that. I mean, well, we may as well jump straight into it. Okay, it's time for you to start, Foley. What is the film that you have watched?
So the amazing film that you got me to watch is an 80s classic, Cobra, with Sylvester Stallone. And like I said to you before, I've got 2 pages of notes, but it's not as it sounds. I started to go into detail. There's a film carried on. I just started doing one-line bullet points. I'm like, there's no point. But it's a weird film.
It is a very strange film.
I want to love it because of how bad it is, but it's just bad. It's like because it's
just before you start, I will say that this is the film called Cobra from 1986. Just so that there's no confusion on that front. Continue, sorry, Foley.
So this character is like a lone wolf, isn't he? Like he's like a private detective that no one likes.
He's not even a private detective. He's an actual police detective.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a police detective, and they don't explain that very well in the movie.
Because they make it sound like it's someone they just gotta get in to do the dirty work. But
he's a Dirty Harry type character, but not as interesting.
Okay, that is exactly what I wanted to say. Because I put in one of my notes. It's like it feels like a Dirty Harry wannabe. Because to what he's wearing, like he has the rolled up jeans and a really weird, like the leather jacket, and he's at the beginning when there's a hostage situation going on, and he's like, smoothly going around like the superstore, like, trying to get He reminds me of a kid who's just watched an action film. I want to be like that. 'Cause he's got the sunglasses on as well.
That is a
And
great
he's
analogy, I want to say.
It's just like, but he got that him that's like sneaking around, acting all cool. He uses like that announcer, doesn't he? He's like, oh, you gotta deal with me now. Like, I'm gonna kill you now. It's like, here we go. And like, the thing that annoys me in that scene as well is the fact there's people that are being held hostage, but they're in aisles where the person is not. And it's only one guy. They can easily just run. But they're just stood there like statues, like, just move. And then, I love, it happens throughout the film, Pepsi advertisements.
God, yeah.
He just takes a sip. So yeah, people are gonna get killed, but let me just take a quick drink before.
It genuinely, it's so bad. It feels like the Wayne's World parody level bad in that movie,
Yes.
where he drinks it and goes, looks at the camera for like half a set, like a glance, and then they move on with the film, and you're like, what?
It's like, oh, this would be cool. And no, I don't get it. But because also mentioned Dirty Harry, one of the detectives that didn't want him to be there. He's the villain from the first Dirty Harry film.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, it's Dirty Harry. They're just trying to do Dirty Harry. It's like, but the film makes no sense to me because the guy that's holding up the store, he's shouting and raving about a new world order kind of thing. Like, I don't know what they called themselves. It's something really weird. But like,
I remember they used axes. They used a lot of axes.
Yeah. But where's that in the film, though? Like, that's at the very beginning, and then they just shoot guns. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why? And because the thing that annoys me is because they go, oh, yeah, we're going to be taking over this city, and, like, we're the New World Order. But then they go after this model, because, like, they say, oh, she's a danger to us. And at the end, it explains nothing.
I was going to
Like,
believe her anyway. It's one person going, it was them, and just a group of people going, no, we were somewhere else.
Yeah.
Done. You're done. You don't need to do any rest of the film. That's it. Film's over. No.
It just finishes. I'm like, is there seriously no explanation why she's such a big target to them? Because it's because what was it?
If I'm not mistaken, the reason that they consider her a big target is because they tried to kidnap her, and she gets away and has seen multiple of their faces, and so can identify them. And then they never elaborate on that again as the reason that they want. That's the initial reason, I think, is one of them is like, she saw us, we need to get her. But then she never explains to the police what they look like. She just says, they had axes and they were chasing me. And it's like, okay, what else? I saw their faces. And what do they look like? I don't want to talk to you. It's like, what?
To be fair, the one person I think she does identify, I don't know his actual name, the actor. I was calling Shao Kahn because he's from Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, God.
So in my notes, I just keep referring to Shao Kahn.
Nice.
Because he has such a weird face, and like, I think he was actually quite intense. Like, not great, but I think he just had really weird, like the fact that he didn't flip paint himself. Like, oh, as a cliche bad guy, like,
Oh yeah,
and
bad guys, all masochists.
all masochists always have to self-inflict pain, like, like do tallies on themselves, like, this is punishment. It's like, all right, yeah.
What's it called? Is that self-flagellation or something that's called?
Yeah, I think, yeah. But it's so that the fact he's just crazy. But his face already does that, and like, but I like the aspect, like, the woman part of that crime gang but she's a police officer.
Oh God,
So
I'll explain my annoyance in that in a minute. Don't you worry. It's so dumb.
It's just the fact they had such a cool idea. It's like, okay, because she cannot be any more obvious the fact she is working with them.
And do you know what really annoys me about that? I'll explain my biggest grievance with that bit. You'll understand exactly what I mean. The people who decide the route, there are 3 of them. Stallone's character, his partner, and this female officer who's the tag-along. They change the route themselves, just the 3 of them, not the entire police department, just the 3 of them, and then they immediately turn around after the route gets sort of like discovered and they get ambushed en route, and their comment is, somebody leaked it, and we don't know who. And it's like, okay, let's think about this. Was it you? Was it the guy who was with you the entire time? Or was it the woman who, as soon as you change the route, went, I've got somewhere I need to be, and leaves? Just just think rationally for 5 seconds as she's walking away and go, well, it can't have been me, and it can't have been you, so... Like, it's so obvious. It's painfully obvious.
It's so painfully obvious.
Like, this is supposed to be a pro-cop movie where the cops are making all the right decisions, all of the cool things, because it's very much one of those pro-police 80s action movies. Like, even Dirty Harry's not that bad, because he makes himself very clear, oh, I'm the one they give all the jobs that none of the rest of them want to do. In this movie, he's like that, but he enjoys doing all the jobs that no one else wants to do. Stupid.
It's just ridiculous. Like, it's like you say, Dirty Harry, they establish him so well.
Yeah.
But then this, I just don't get his character at all. Like,
even Dirty Harry has a line he won't cross. He doesn't cross that line because he considers it immoral. Cobra doesn't have that line that he'll cross, but it's supposed to be a pro-cop movie, but all the cops are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, because, what was it? As I was watching, when I was thinking to myself, like, who saw, like, Stallone as a Dirty Harry type? Because bear in mind, you don't like Rocky.
Him. He wrote it. It's him.
Because he wrote it. Exactly. I'm like, oh. So I was watching it. This is just him, isn't it? Yeah. Like himself. Because it's what he says to his partner as well, which I don't know I find so funny. Because I swear his partner makes a comment towards the detective that doesn't like him. He went, I'm going to smack him one. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're too violent. You need to lay out the junk food. I'm like...
They talk about that in one of the reviews that I found. And highlight that for its stupidity.
What does that mean? He's drinking Pepsi during a shootout.
Literally, he reaches into a fridge, takes out a can of Pepsi mid-shootout. They're still firing at him, bear in mind. And he opens it up and he has a swing. And it's like, what's wrong with you?
Low sugar. He needs to steady his aim a bit.
Yeah.
See, honestly, if they had made him a diabetic cop, that would have made the film so much more interesting. Like, if they'd made him diabetic, then he's got to constantly worry about his blood sugar. And just the idea of just him turning it into a bit more of a comedy of him just grabbing, like, shoving from a supermarket, nomming on it and shooting. It would have had nothing to do with diabetes, but it'd be funny.
He shoots one of the guys down, like, rifles through his pockets, comes out with, like, a Snickers and just like... in the middle of the fight.
Amazing.
No, that's how the bad guys try to fight off. Like, get all the sugar ready, lads.
or even worse, his blood sugar's really low and he rifles through one of their pockets and he's like, a can! 0 sugar! No, I'm doomed!
It'd be that sort of thing with like the romantic interest turns up and it's like he just like says some cool line and then just hands him like, oh, can I Coke or something.
Looks at the camera.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Because that remind me, like, towards the end, with Shao Kahn and him, the final showdown. Brutal death, by the way, I will admit. But it's when, like, Cobra's got...
Is that the one on the meat hook?
Yeah, he just literally slams him on.
Oh, is it that film?
Yeah. And you got, like, because it's pretty much like Terminator before Terminator 2, like the whole, like, the factory, the casting eye.
Yeah.
It's like, he puts on the meat hook, goes through fire, and that is brutal, okay. But it's just before they start fighting, like, Cobra's obviously got his gun on him, like, and the guy's like, oh, you won't do it, you're a pig. It's a fact, 5 minutes before, Cobra just had a massive shootout, killing all his friends. I'm like, I think he will do it, because he's crazy.
They do have a really cool shot, to be fair. Yeah. They do have a really cool shot at one point, to be fair, of how there's like a red laser sight going down an area, and then they sort of like start approaching the red laser sight. That's, the very suspiciously still red laser sight, and they start making their way towards it, trying to, like, be careful, stay in cover. And the Cobra I think he just walks up behind them and just snaps one of their necks or something like that. And do you know what's really annoying about that? While watching this film for the first time, I was thinking to myself, he's got a laser sight in his pistol. I wonder if any film has ever done a thing where they put the laser sight down and then they sneak up on the people who are trying to then sneak up on his fake laser sight. They've just done that. Oh, I see. Okay, I guess they have done that. Well, there goes my idea. It was literally just an, I see. In fairness, fair play to him. He doesn't just take the laser sight off the gun and put it down. He just puts the entire gun there. He just puts the laser sight and gun and then just immediately goes, "I'm going to sneak up on you now, kill you with my bare hands." And you're like,
Probably didn't want to have to recalibrate it.
yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get too far off track, what is the overall plot of the film, Foley?
It's about Cobra trying to take on this group of people. I don't know their name. They try to bring a new world order.
Honestly, judging by other Stallone movies, they
what I think.
may as well have been called that.
It's
Yeah.
the other thing that made me laugh as well. You can tell it's his film because they have so many music montages. Like it's like one with the girl when you first see her, like as a model. It's literally it felt like 10 minutes, and then I think there's another segment as well with him just driving around or something. I'm like, it's just Rocky, but as like a detective. That's what it felt like. And but I tell you, I knew I was in it for a good time because I love how the guy at the beginning, like the bad guy, parks in a handicapped space. When this guy's got to be trouble.
You can tell he's a bad guy because he's flagrantly just disobeying the rules.
He doesn't care about people with disabilities.
Fucking hell.
But then again, when he's in the hostages, they're in the wheelchair, but he doesn't harm them. So clearly, he has a soft spot for them. So he makes someone run away, doesn't he? Like he goes, "Oh yeah, you can go now." And I was like,
It turns out he's not there to, kill anyone or rob the place. He's just there to pick up his disabled friend. And then the police just sort of jump in because he happens to have a gun on him. It's an open carry state, guys. Come on, everyone gets a firearm.
Just to happen to shoot someone. He just, and all these people.
Not infringed.
But I liked the dialogue. I liked the one-liner though, or with what he says to the guy at the beginning. It's like, because what is he? He goes, "Oh, you're a trash cop" or something. It's like, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, what did he say?
Is it "you're the disease and I'm the cure"? Is it that one?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I think it's like goes, "You're trash, you're the disease and I'm the cure." He just shoots him. It's like, okay, I like that.
It's a good line. Unfortunately, it's been slightly just sort of tarnished by the Simpsons line, which is just the one that's like, "Fat Tony is a cancer on this city, and I'm the what cures cancer?" Like that one. I love it's such a good line. I love it. And ever since I saw that episode, I'm now like, well, that disease and I'm the cure one is no longer a badass. So anytime it pops up, it always pops up and there's best movie one-liners things. And you're like, and when you just sort of read it out of context, you're like, yeah, that's great, that's a really good one. But then you just remember the Fat Tony and you're like, oh, okay, great, thanks guys.
Oh dear.
So good.
I think that's probably better writing than this film altogether.
I mean, it's golden age Simpsons, so it's banging right in,
But one more thing I will give it. I love the car chase in the middle. I think that was good. I liked, although it's got a weird car. I'm confused by it, but I find it really interesting.
Yeah, there's a very pertinent review about that. I'll let you continue in a minute. It's a great review that I found. But continue.
I can't wait for this one. But all I say is I liked how well that was, because that was actually quite intense until Stallone started speaking again, because the girl is in the passenger seat with him, and he just starts shouting out, what did he say? He goes, "Hold on, get down!" Like he shouted, so he's right next to you. It's just the way he says it. They're like, "Get down!" Like where? Where's he going to go?
Something that's sort of interesting of note in that movie is at the time, the actress who's playing the female love interest was his wife, I believe.
Fuck off. Sorry.
It's fine. I've sworn already many times. Who gives a shit?
I thought there was no chemistry between them.
Yeah, which is ironic because apparently their relationship was actually quite a good one. It's as soon as the camera goes on, they're just like wooden blocks. It's great. But out of camera, they're apparently really relationship. It's mental. It's terrible.
I did not feel like that at all. I felt so awkward every time there's a scene with them. I think maybe it was Stallone, really. He felt really awkward around it. I don't know. Because he tried that to all cool and macho. I'm like,
Don't get me wrong. I love a good Stallone movie and a bad Stallone movie. But Stallone is not what I would consider a good actor.
No. I think it's the fact... I think, like I said, beginning is the fact, soon as I saw him at the beginning, like try Corey slip into the store and like, you know, hop around a little bit, try to be quiet. I just see him as a kid. Like it's the whole glasses, the roll up jeans, and he's just trying to imitate something that is so cool, but he doesn't have that.
I would say the biggest problem with me with the movie is there's moments where you're like, those kind of scenes are fine because they seem like fun. They seem like cheesy, campy fun. Same with the car chase and that. The moments of the film that are cheesy, campy fun. And then they try and take the rest of the film seriously. So the entire film is fluctuating between fun and edge. And it's not a good balance. And it just falls apart.
It didn't know what it wanted to be, really. Like, because it has so many, because like the fact it has those cheesy lines and all those scenes, but then it tries to be serious, like you're saying, like, what is this film? Like, seriously. Because obviously you got the music montages going in. You got so many things going on. I think they just owe money to Pepsi, to be honest, but let's just do a film.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's how I felt, like, because at the end, I'm like, I felt nothing has really, like, although things have happened, I'm like, what did they actually do?
The funny thing is, I was going to ask you to sum up the film in 4 words, but what is this film is 4 words, and I think that's a pretty apt description of the movie. So you've done it without even me asking. Like, what is this film? Done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for suggesting this film. I bought for £7, and I thought it wasn't going to be that bad.
I just want to reiterate for the moment. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Foley. I know I'll end up cutting this if you're not comfortable with me saying this. But I asked Foley to get this film, or I would lend it to him on DVD because I've got a box set of Stallone movies. And his reaction was, "Nah, it's cool. I bought it on Apple TV." And I went, "Oh, you didn't have to." And his comment was, "Oh, it's fine. My dead dad left me some money for Apple TV, and I'm going to spend it on Cobra." And I was like, "No." Don't do that.
So, of all the things.
What I was saying is, okay. So what it is,
I just want to let any audience members know he is laughing so hard that his mic was failing to pick up his laughter.
I'm wearing like a burgundy jumper, and I think that's my face on the exact same.
Very similar, yeah.
So what happened was, it was around Boxing Day, and I was helping move empty like some space, put some drinks on, and then I found pushed up the back of the shelf just an old Apple gift card, and it was from my older brother to my dad. And I looked at him, when was this?
It wasn't like even yours.
Even mine.
Wow.
I looked at it. This is from like 3 years ago. So yeah, I was like, well, my dad doesn't need it. I don't think he really ever used Apple anyway. So I was like, I'll see if it's still redeemable, because I know. And then, 25 quid. So I was like, I think I'm just going to spend Cobra.
Jesus.
So really, Dad paid for it, really. So thank you, Dad.
How much was Cobra?
Like, £7.
I bought it in a box set with better movies for less than that.
It's probably like a quid at CEX.
Yeah, genuinely. The box set that I've got it's called the Stallone Collection. And I mainly got it, to be honest, because it had Tango and Cash. Genuinely fantastic. It's Kurt Russell and Stallone movie. It's got Kurt Russell in drag, and my God, he looks good in drag. I'm just saying.
See this now.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
genuinely, this is just a recommendation. I think Tango and Cash is a lot of fun. I watched it with my partner. We very much enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's also got James Hong in. He's like one of the bad guys in the film. He's not the big bad. He's like the Asian executive who's going to be giving money to the bad guy sort of character. He's really good in it. So I would say Cobra I would not watch again after I've just seen it. It's by no means not one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I think it is very middling, if that makes sense.
Is this Cobra?
Cobra is very middling.
I think it's very not middling.
It's not awful. It's not the worst film I've ever seen. I've seen some stonking awful films. But it is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
I would actually rather watch Hellfire then
You would rather watch Hellfire?
I would actually watch Hellfire because that actually has a really that's again. No,
I guess I'm adding that back to the list now that you've said you'd rather watch it.
I've literally still got it, mother.
Cool. Now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey guys, it's me Sliced Alone here. Pepsi is the drink of champions. It can break a riot, if handed to the police by a woman who is famous due to her family member getting railed in a porno. A true Western star like David Beckham can ask for it in a shanty town bar. Maximum taste. I need to gun down some scum now. Crime is the disease. Pepsi is the cure. Drink Pepsi, Stallone.
Yeah, so I paid you 17.
I was counting down from 5. I've still got enough time to edit in a sponsor bit, but just from silence. But Sam immediately started speaking when I was trying to give a little bit of time. How much did you give me? Go on, how much did you give me?
17.
17 pence, is it, or 17 pounds?
No, it's just
17. Okay.
17.
It's 17.
Okay, so thank you for that, Sam. So what I've been up to is I've been given 17. As you can tell, that can't be cut out now. That's great. Not that I would have. That's just quite funny. But yeah, so I have been doing some interesting stuff. But there's a fun story tied with one of them, related to another person in this call actually. But one of the things that happened is I got given Dragon Quest 1 to 3 on the Switch. I beat all of 1. It was alright. I'm probably about halfway, maybe a third of the way through 2, something like that. It's pretty good so far. I haven't played 3 yet. What's quite funny is I was like, I wonder what the best ones are. And I looked through the list of the best ones. I have played one of the best ones. It's 11. That's one of my favourites. 9's up at the bottom. Towards the back of the fucking list, 1 and 2. And I was like, so I'm starting with the worst. Good to know. I'm glad that gets better. Brilliant. Right. And apparently 3 is below that. So I've got the worst ones to play before I actually get to the good ones later on, which I don't have. Anything's better than 10 though, because 10 is one of those ones that's considered uncompletable by modern standards. Because 10 is an MMO.
Yeah.
So good luck. And I don't know if the servers are even online. I don't know if the servers are even online, so it might be uncompletable for a different reason as well.
If it was light enough, they may have fan servers.
That's true, but it might still be going on, and I just haven't looked into it. The other one of the other interesting things that's been happening lately, I don't know where my phone's gone, but I was just going to read a message I had for Foley, is I came up with an idea for a fun script. We were talking about it a little bit beforehand, and it's an eldritch horror drama nightmare-y thing. And I gave Foley the synopsis of it, and his comment was, "Holy shit, I fucking love this," was the first line back. And I just thought that is such a funny response to me going, "I hope you like it." And he's like, "Holy shit, I fucking love this." And you're like, "Oh, I'm glad you do. Cool. I'll start writing it soon."
Yeah, it messed, like, the synopsis you gave me. It's like, okay, I was like, this seems like, where everyone kind of goes. But as I carried on, I'm like, oh, this gets more messed up. I love this.
Yeah.
It's like, this is exactly what...
I think it helps that you were playing Alan Wake 2 relatively recently, and it very much plays into that thing, I think is what you said. So, yeah. Hopefully,
it's like,
you like more.
It's the fact, I'd say it's like that, but then, like I say, he's got the other John Carpenter films as well, which go down that road. I'm like, this is what I've been, because you don't see that, like, the stuff, like, what you've written, you don't see that kind of, like, I don't know, genre anymore. It's more like, I don't know, it's playing too safe by being psychological, like they're paying off like nothing.
Yeah. Obviously, I know he's one of my favourite actors, so it's going to sound like it's like, oh great, he's just prattling on about Bruce Campbell again. But I think the line that Bruce Campbell said is, you look at any of the big budget studios, they are doing nothing to further the medium. It's the low budget people who are furthering the medium, because quite frankly, they've got nothing to lose by trying.
Yeah.
It's like Saw. Saw, I read recently, was made by people who were just out of uni, just out of film school, couldn't afford anything more than a single room, so they made an entire film based in that room, and it happened to be Saw. And Saw did very well. Did very well. It's one of those very much low-budget films that's done very well. Like Paranormal Activity, very low budget, did very well.
Yeah.
It's sometimes they're shit. Sometimes they're very good and interesting.
A film recently about an albino alligator, which was raised by a cop, a sheriff,
A sheriff?
serial killer. So there you go.
Please tell me that the reason he's got the alligator is he feeds these bodies to the alligator.
Well, it's a 50-50. He kills half of them, the alligator kills half of them.
Did you
And he
say
wins
an
in the end.
albino alligator?
So it's a buddy serial killer movie between a sheriff and an alligator.
Kinda, yeah. He's like the antagonist, but he wins. And, yeah,
I'm just.
pretty cool.
Why does it make so much sense for Sam to watch this? Why?
Yeah.
I don't question it at all. To be honest, it's alright.
So I had
Oh.
surgery.
What?
I had surgery on my forehead. Yeah, he knows what story this is now. I had surgery on my forehead, and this was the hospital that was right near where he was. I hadn't told him I was going to be there or anything, or anything of the sort. And we ended up just sort of stopping off at nearby McDonald's afterwards. I took the worst picture you've ever seen. It was basically nothing but lights and blur, and so I just went, fuck. Well, I'm near you, I'm in your ends, I'm at McDonald's, I'm getting a burger, because I hadn't eaten anything all day, basically. I'd had like a slice of toast, because I had surgery, I was nervous for surgery. And I didn't eat anything, so I went to McDonald's afterwards. And he just messaged me and went, I'll see if I can come down there. And he ran all the way to McDonald's just to say hi, as I'm just awkwardly eating there with my mum and my dad, who'd taken me there, because obviously can't get home very easily. I'm pretty sure she still scares you, Foley, because yeah.
Wait, is this your mother?
Yeah,
Fair
this is my mum. Wow, I'm make sure she doesn't listen to this. But
Lovely woman.
yeah.
Lovely woman.
yeah, genuinely, she's a very lovely woman, but she scared Foley and Giblin because we went out drinking one night and they came in the car to pick us up, and she was knocking really hard on the door, scared Foley and Giblin. Giblin's another Jack, which is why we refer to them with their surnames rather than their first names. But scared them both so much that they thought it was the police coming to get them.
Oh, it's a SWAT team coming in. Like, 'cause we were on this park the night before. Like, yeah, we're going some swing and sit down a slide. I thought the police were coming to get us for doing that. So we just went down a slide.
No, it was just my
The
mum
worst
knocking
thing
on the
is,
door
though-
trying to wake us up.
No,
Oh.
knocking is just, a gentle tap. I thought they were going to breach the door. Like, but the worst thing is, though, Rhys just passed out to sleep, and he was just going for like 10 minutes, and he just went, oh, just got up, just checked his phone and went, oh, that's Mum. I was 16 giving it, I think the police are at the door.
Just like, oh, it's my mum. I'm going to get up quick. Okay.
But there was another time, though, your mum did scare me, which, as well as it,
All right, yeah, when you were over at mine.
Yeah, because I went to the toilet, and obviously, because you have quite a lot, a few sisters and brothers, don't you? And
Yeah,
so obviously it's a big two of each. So it's a big house. So I just went to the toilet and I opened the door, about to go back out of the toilet. But your mum just stood there, and she had that stance, her arms on her hips.
Arms on the hips, the real judgmental you stance, yeah.
She was like, there's like a silence. It's just like, I was going to have a go at you there, because I thought you were one of my children. I was like, fuck, okay. I was like, you only get to use the toilet.
God.
But lovely woman, though.
Yeah.
Lovely woman.
Yeah, lovely. She's great, honestly.
Oh, brilliant. Oh.
But yeah, he just ran down from his place, and
Right.
we just had a weird conversation. And I talked about another script that I wanted to write. I'll still write it because it's a 15-minute film. It's just called That Bloody Cat, and it's mental, it's stupid, and it's a lot of fun. But I wanted to write something
It'll be more
non-comedy for
British.
once. Yeah, it's just That Bloody Cat.
Bloody cat.
But yeah, I don't know if I've told you guys about this, but my partner suggested I mention it because I thought it was very funny. And after I had the surgery, they showed me the lump in a little, sort of one of those little bio waste things, just so I could have a look at it. And I just went, oh, and then he showed it to me, and I picked it up and I had a look at it and went, okay, and I put it back down on the table afterwards, and he's explaining all the things I need to do, make sure I need to pay attention to this. I just went, okay, thanks. And so I stood up and I picked it up again, to take with me.
Yeah.
And just like
oh, thank you.
yeah, literally, I picked it up and I pick it up and I start to turn and leave, and everyone, like the two nurses and the doctor, went, no, and the doctor's like, that's mine, thank you very much, and he just sort of put it down, and I was just like, oh, sorry, and I just sort of put it down awkwardly.
Taking his payment.
Yeah.
That's mine.
I think he sounds very connected to this lump of yours.
Yeah.
Your lump is mine now. Mine. To be fair, do you know how tempted it was just to poke you in? Like, 'cause you had that big.
Oh yeah, I know.
I said it to it. I really want to poke you in the ear.
I think at that time it wouldn't have hurt because it was a local anaesthetic, so I think I was still under the anaesthetic at the time. So I don't think I would have actually felt that, but I think after a couple of hours I probably would have felt it.
Yeah, you'd. It's just a It's just the fact it was a big white plaster. Like you felt like a character from Sin City. Like I just wanted to jab it. I don't know why. I think because you made me run.
I didn't make you run. I didn't make you run. You just ran down. Don't pretend that I forced you to run all the way down from your house. Like a 10-minute run.
It just sounds really bad, though, doesn't it? The fact, like, I ran to Mackey's.
It's like, I ran to McDonald's. Oh, why did you run to McDonald's? Just poke someone in the forehead.
It would have been worthy then. I probably just poked and ran. Like,
You have a run up. The mother of all run ups.
Just chariots of fire playing in slow motion.
Like, oh.
Just chariots of fire, slow mo, and just instead of just sprinting forward, just slowly reaching your finger out as I'm running away, looking back to see if you're still behind me as you just try and poke me in the forehead. God.
And your parents there judging you.
Yeah,
not judging me.
Hands on him.
No, they'd be judging me as well, 100%. Just be there like, you're ill. Why are you running? And why are you trying to poke him in the forehead? You're just a bunch of toddlers. What's wrong with you? But yeah, I got really ill after that, and that's why I ended up beating Dragon Quest, because I had nothing else to do.
Oh yeah, because you were being sick, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was horribly ill. Like, really bad. Because I got the flu while I was recovering, and it was really unpleasant.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not fun. So, now that we're away from that subject, Sam.
Yeah.
Unlike both of the other games that I've got you to play before, and the two films, well, the 3 films now, that I've had Foley watch, this game is a game that I haven't touched. I played a game of the series, 2 games of the series, thinking about it actually.
I've played one.
But I have not played any, I have not played the one that I've given to you. So this is the first time that this is a game that I'm going in relatively blind. I don't have any personal anecdotes or anything for this one. So take it away. What was the game that you were playing?
Well, first, relatively blind. That's a pretty good summary.
Oh dear.
Nah. So the game was Metal Gear Solid.
Indeed, the Metal Gear Solid from 1998 for the PlayStation 1.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a previous couple of games in the series, which I think is just Metal Gear.
Yeah, Metal Gear.
Something.
Metal I don't think it's called Solid or anything. It's the first one's Metal Gear. It was created for a Japanese computer, I believe, at the time. But most people will know it for its NES port specifically.
Yeah.
It's the reason the menus are the way that they are for the NES is because you would have had, I believe, a mouse and keyboard on the computer to be able to do a little bit more with it. But on the NES, you've just got the controller, so it's a bit different.
Yes, so you play as the legendary Solid Snake, who is an armyman, a former member of the Special Forces Unit Foxhound. So it is the distant year of 2005, and Foxhound has taken over a nuclear weapons disposal facility, which is on an island in Alaska, nice and isolated.
It's in Alaska?
It is in Alaska, yeah.
I had no idea. Sorry, keep going.
Well, it's going to be in US waters, I guess, it's an island. And it's got ice, so, Alaska makes sense. It's going to be like Minnesota or something. Is that landlocked?
I think Minnesota's landlocked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know much about America, it's got to be said.
Yeah. So Foxhounds, or I probably refer to them as terrorists quite often, they have taken over this nuclear weapons disposal facility, and they are threatening to fire a nuke at Russia, the US, I don't remember which one, unless they get $1 billion and also the remains of Big Boss, who Snake killed in one of the previous games or previous game.
Frankly, the plot sounds like an Austin Powers movie, I've got to be honest.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Or do a nuke Russia.
So, yep. So Foxhound, it's got a bunch of core members and also like a little mini army they have. Core members are Inferiority Complex Edgelord, Psychic, the Nordic Shaman Arnie, who's in a tank and also has a minigun, a Sniper who loves you and is loved by a weeb, a guy that likes spinning his revolver, and then the army is a bunch of nanomachine enhanced grunts, and Psycho Mantis keeps them brainwashed and loyal for most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. That's a point. You haven't gone into this series completely blind because you played Revengeance.
I have played Revengeance, yeah.
So technically, you have played another game of the series. Because I can't remember if that's canon.
I think it probably is. It's quite a bit in the future.
I don't know. Kojima's mad. We'll just leave it at that. So, what is the overall overarching plot of this game, and did you actually complete it?
So terrorists take over islands. Snake stealths onto the island, and he 50-50 sort of stealths or fights his way through. Along the way, he uncovers that there's a bunch of different conspiracies. Throughout the game, he can talk to people on his little codec, which is effectively a radio, but it has video as well. And he can just ring them up at any time and chat with them. And a decent portion of the people he can talk to betray him or are involved in conspiracies, that sort of thing.
As you do.
Yeah. He fights each of the members of Foxhound at least once or twice, except one who just kind of dies by virtue of meeting him. And yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's just a bit more involved than that. He's kind of like a nanomachine virus. And the guy mimicked a guy so well that it killed him instead. There you go. Yeah.
Is that as far as you got, or?
No.
That's the end of the game,
I got pretty far. No.
Ah, okay.
So it turns out this nuclear weapons disposal facility isn't actually being used for that. It's in partnership with a military company. The government is developing a metal gear here, which is effectively a big old mech that can fire nukes.
A big old mech that can fire a nuke.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Bill Gates.
And yeah. So.
Oh, no, not again. Let's not bring this topic Bill Gates up again. Would you? I feel like we've done that every time.
And yeah. So in terms of gameplay, it's a top-down stealth game for the most part. You got a pretty limited sort of view around Snake. But you can also pop into first person by just doing it manually or by sort of pushing against walls and looking around and type thing.
Yeah.
And additionally, you have a kind of radar, Soliton radar, which shows you
Soliton
around you. That's right, Soliton radar.
What does that even mean? I assume that's an acronym for something.
Probably. I think it's all lowercase when I've seen it, but hey. But yeah, so the gameplay is kind of mixed. When you're doing the stealth bit, you kind of avoid being spotted. You avoid guards, or you shoot them to kill them. You can actually punch them and stuff, but you can't actually kill them like that. They just kind of get back up. So it's more avoiding or expending resources if you feel like not avoiding them. And yeah, it's just pretty good when it's like that. But it also, if you're spotted, you go into combat sort of mode. Or if you a boss fight or certain sort of forced combat encounters, you do combat stuff, and that is
not good.
It's not the best.
Gives me very much because if I remember correctly, I think it was Deus Ex Human Revolution that was very much like that. Not Mankind Divided, the sequel. Because to the point when they did the director's cut of Human Revolution, they made it so that you could actually beat them using non-direct combat skills. Because until you get to that point, you had to fight them head on. So that means if you spec into stealth and hacking, you're fucked. There was nothing you could do, basically. Yeah. You can't do anything. You're dead.
Yeah.
So during the director's cut, they literally made it so that you could hack a bunch of turrets in certain areas to be able to fight them. And then hide around because it was terrible. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, in some ways this isn't as bad because you don't spec into anything really, apart from, I guess, choosing not to pick up certain items. That's not really the same. So at least it doesn't end up being unbalanced in that way. It's just how it's designed. And yeah, so in terms of bosses, of which there's a fair few, it felt kind of like 50-50 just doing stealth stuff and 50-50 fighting bosses or getting shot up by infinitely respawning guards. But the bosses are pretty bad in terms of gameplay, I would say. For the most part, it's just figure out the specific gimmick for the boss and then do that for the next 5-10 minutes. And on certain ones, it can be kind of punishing in terms of how much damage you take and how much damage you do, where you fuck up a few too many times and you have to restart the entire thing, which is not so great. So, but the worst boss
in a game where you've said that you don't like a bunch of the bosses.
Yeah.
The worst
so the
boss.
worst boss that I remember is the sniper boss, Sniper Wolf, who is a lady. Yeah, there you go. She...
And I assume that she doxes Jack's films.
Sure that. Oh, shit,
yeah, that's Sniper Wolf. I assume that's where she got her name from, probably.
Yeah, I guess. She was going to just stuff the two together. It's not too...
That's true. It's not that too weird. I just thought it was a funny joke. Continue, Sam.
Yeah. So that is a fight where you're against a world-class sniper who is at the end of a long corridor without any cover, really, apart from where you are right at the end of it. You've got a dying friend on the floor. She's been shot several times by him. And first off, you go back across the map to find a sniper rifle. Then you come back, your friend's gone at that point, because of course she is. And then you engage in this just bizarre sniper showdown where to shoot at her, to aim, you have to walk out into the open, lie down, and scope in. Your scope sensitivity, your move aiming speed, is so fucking low. And also, if you don't take drugs, you're just jittering the entire time you've got Parkinson's. And you start off, every time you start aiming, you start off aiming horizontally because you're lying down. But she's on the first floor, so every time you start aiming, you have to aim all the way up slowly to her, find her, aim at her, and target her before she shoots you. It's just the worst. If she shoots you, you pretty much have to reset because your aim just gets flung off miles away. It's just so bad.
How do they get greenlit?
It's so bad. It's doable, but it's just so unpleasant.
So based on that,
you say the game's aged well. Snake had Parkinson's disease.
That's 4 words.
Yeah. Mixed potential bad good.
Mixed potential bad good. I thought the word tedious was going to come into play at some point during it, but
that's fair. I mean, it's much more frustrating than tedious, to be honest.
So, but you did enjoy about it.
The best bosses, yeah. So you got good music. That's a definite plus. The voice acting's pretty good for most characters, not for Little Snake.
I was going to say, it's something that I remember about, quite famously about Snake, when they tried to remaster the game, because of how, I think it's David Hayter had recorded the lines for Snake, when they tried to increase, the quality of it, you could hear the cars outside the building. So he was one of the only people that had to completely re-record all the dialogue. Because you just, as soon as you increase the quality, you could hear all the outside sounds. Because he'd clearly just done it in his cupboard or something like that. Or not even that. And you could just hear everything. Yeah. It was just a shitty, low quality mic. I've heard some good
stuff
mixed bag about the voice acting. At least it's better than Resident Evil 1, where all of the dialogue...
Don't open that door!
Yeah, the problem with Resi 1, when it comes to dialogue, and I'm using this as an example because I think... Are they both Konami? Is Resident Evil Konami? No, Resident Evil's Capcom, I think.
Yeah, Capcom.
Yeah, yes. But they're both Japanese games using English voice actors. The reason that it sounds so disjointed in Resident Evil is because they're all being told to use the Japanese dictation, emphasizing words in certain places. And in the English version of Metal Gear Solid, they clearly were not given that command to just... Because I think Kojima was a big fan of English movies and English action flicks and things like that. So he had a much better understanding of how the English language worked in terms of direction for it. So they were a bit more understanding of that kind of thing. So it sounds a bit disjointed. And I'm using the comparison because they're both very, very well-known PlayStation 1 games of Japanese with English voice actors. Yeah. So what you were saying, Sam?
Stuff that's good about it. It looks pretty damn good, actually, considering how old it is. It's got I think it's got a good art style that helps quite a lot. And you've got, in cutscenes, it's quite cinematically framed,
Yeah.
It's nice and dramatic. You can definitely see the evolution into stuff like Revengeance, probably the later ones as well, which I haven't played.
5 is the only other one that I've played, and you're just there there's a strange box there. I wander, and then you just burst out the top with like a machine gun. Everyone knows you're there, but, you know, they won't for long. Because I'm going to kill them and find them. Every single one of them. With my very loud machine gun. And by that, I mean, you basically just stand in the corner of a room and have them all run in and go, "Ooh, there's no dead body here. It's fine to run in." Oh dear, I'm dead. Every single time. It's great. But yeah,
Speaking of cardboard boxes, though.
Yeah?
A cardboard box usually consists of a thin pasteboard with a corrugated paper center. They're usually made of recycled paper. It was first invented in Europe over 100 years ago. It was originally used to absorb one's sweat while wearing hats. With the same amount of wood to make one wooden box, you can make 6 or 7 cardboard boxes, and since it's recyclable, it's highly economical. In addition, it's strong and easy to store. That is why it's widely used for packaging. But to avoid damaging weapons and other delicate instruments when shipping them, they should be packed in stronger boxes like wood or something. Also, the crevices should be filled with styrofoam to prevent them from moving around. So,
Is
anyway,
that dialogue from the game or a description?
That is what happens if you ring up the weapons expert, and that's the Russian accent.
What?
You're hiding in the box. It's so good.
Oh
Did
my
you
god.
seriously just you have that written down? Did you
No,
just
I
memorise
wrote
it?
down.
I memorised that.
No.
I can imagine you calling him up going, "What?" and calling him up a second time just so you can hear it again. Because you were just like, I just want to confirm that's what he said. Just want to double check about that.
Nah. There's loads of good quotes I got written down.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about Otacon either.
Oh,
He's,
genuinely, one of the reviews literally gets to the point when, and oh my god, I'm 107, I'm like 1,000 words into this, and I haven't even talked about fucking Otacon yet. Fucking
The
Otacon. You have a very different opinion of Otacon than this reviewer did.
If either of you don't know, what is your guess as to what Otacon stands for? What it comes from? It's not an acronym, but it's...
I know what it stands
composite of 2
for,
words.
but what do you think that it is? It's a portmanteau, I believe that's called.
Ooh.
Sounds like
It's 2 words shoved together. Wow. That's incredibly close there, Foley, actually.
What was his guess right now?
Comic-Con.
Not
it
that,
sounds
yeah.
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 Well,
Otaku
Otacon.
convention.
So, pretty much.
Otaku
Oh.
is like the Japanese weeb.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Japanese weeb, but worse. In English, oh god, I say that as I'm wearing an anime top. That's really, really bad. I promise I'm not a weeb. In English, weebs are basically people who constantly quote anime, talk anime non-stop, and they're like the really sort of like the cringy people, but they can, you'll find that they'll still have jobs, there will still be semi-productive members of society, even though like part-time jobs or something like that. In Japanese, an otaku is like the dredge slime pit of society. People, they don't have, back to Otacon. Oh god,
Yes,
Otacon.
Otacon. So Otacon is a scientist who's building Metal Gear, and he's just the best. He's so funny. He's just such a fucking weirdo. He's like, who are these guys? It's like one of my Japanese animes. When you're fighting a zombie cyborg ninja. I didn't bring him up, but you killed him previously, and now he's back. There's the thing where like
Revenge.
Snake mentions them like, I'm here alone. He's like, alone? Are you an otaku too?
Oh god.
Oh my god, I didn't realise it was that bad.
Great. Snake says at one point, you look like hell. And he's like, don't worry, if I do this, it doesn't matter. And he turns invisible. Great.
Doesn't he like
You think
piss
nothing
himself
new?
at one point?
Even on a battlefield.
Oh my god,
It is.
you didn't get
Yeah,
the good
it is.
ending. Oh, you didn't get the good ending.
No, I didn't get any ending. So.
No, but
Congrats, then.
there's a point in it where was this said on a snowmobile?
Nah.
The love
I
blue
missed that
bit?
one, I guess.
Oh.
No.
But apparently there's a quite a well-known bit is there's a girl character in it who you have to find by watching all of the characters shake their hips, and her hip has a feminine hip sway
Yeah.
because Kojima, I
Says-
guess.
She kind of wiggles her behind. That's
And
very
apparently
funny.
the other way that you can find her is by watching her go into the women's bathroom, which they don't really need because they're all clones of men.
I don't think they're clones. I think it's genetically engineered.
They just, but they might be. They're all genetically. Okay,
it's
that's
not like they own the facility. They're just here for nuclear weapons test.
a good point. Actually, I didn't think of that. Just
Yeah.
here for the nuclear weapons. But yeah, you just follow her into the women's bathroom and then just confront her, and then you're like, what? Why?
Yeah. So when I did it, I identified her with her nice derriere or whatever, and I was like, "Hello," in front of her. Then she was like, and sprinted off to the bathroom. So I went there and there.
It's like, it's me, Snake.
Yeah.
How's it going? And she's like, I know you are.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Oh, that's great.
Gets a zombie cyborg boyfriend. Look.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, did you enjoy it? I guess is probably the ultimate question.
I'm glad I played it, but a good portion of it was just so obnoxious. Yeah. It's got a good story, for the most part. Got fun stuff. Yeah.
That's
Ends up
me in a
being,
nutshell, right there.
Top down, and then you switch into first person mode to look around and navigate. Spot guards that are more than like fucking 5 meters to your right, that sort of thing. And yeah, that works fairly well. Kinda. Yeah.
Instilling confidence as you continue to speak.
You could use a higher FOV on when you're in first person, because it's just super narrow. It's kind of difficult to tell what the hell you're looking at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Trust your instincts as a soldier, as a gamer. That's the line.
Is that
That's the line. I'm not sure. I don't remember the context, but it's pretty funny.
I mean, you said that you haven't finished it, and I don't think you've finished most of the games that I've given you. Do you reckon you'd actually finish this one?
8-10 hours.
Do you reckon you'd finish it?
Maybe. I'm at the Metal Gear Rex fight currently. I got stuck there for a minute, and then
I'll be honest, I have no real context to that.
Yeah, that's fair. Feels like I'm most of the way through, I'd imagine. I saw an estimate of the playtime at one point. I was like 6-8 hours, and I'm pretty much at that. So probably got like a couple of hours left. That's my first time.
Yeah. Before I go on to reviews and what your reviews are, I think I'll do your reviews first. The main thing that I know about Metal Gear Solid, other than like obviously there's a bunch of animations and stuff, like Ego Raptor, who's famously one of the Game Grumps now, and doing animations and stuff. The main thing that I remember about it is, I think it was last year, let me check. No, 2021. Okay, so about nearly 2 years ago, or by the looks 1.5 years ago, there was a streamer, who I'm already a fan of. There was a streamer called Boba, playing the game for the first time, Boba Witch, one of the Yogscast, so I'm obviously a fan of them, but accidentally found a skip in a game which lets you cut out like a minute. So for speedrunners went wild. She accidentally basically, what happened was she shot and then she got hit by somebody and her hitbox pushed them through the wall, which pretty much let them skip this whole sequence about opening that door so you can just leave that area, which skips like a minute or something of gameplay, which for speedrunners is the equivalent of a year. Which is mental to speedrunners. It's insane. And I just remember that she, as a joke, just went on Twitter and went, I just faced for the wall. That's a bit weird. And the speedrunning community went wild. Because they were just like, all just, what? You skipped a tedious portion of the game? How? And, I just remember that being very entertaining. When that came out, because I didn't see it happen live, obviously, but I was a member of the community of just how everyone was just demanding that they figure out how the skip worked and forcing them into a voice call to just see how it works. And some of the best speedrunners of the community all trying to figure out how it works, and just the response of just, I don't know, I just got shot. Okay, you got shot, so does that mean damage? Something like that. Just all these kind of things trying to figure it out, and it's just like okay. But yeah, I just remember being very entertaining.
It's quite heartwarming though to hear that she brought a lot of people together.
Yeah,
so they could figure out.
First time ever playing the game. There's another member of the group who loves the game series to bits, and he was furiously jealous that Boba was the person who managed to figure out what the skip was, and not him. He was incredibly just. He was very proud of them. Don't get me wrong, but he was very jealous. Like it was like one of those. Well done. I'm putting a medal around your shoulders because I'm over your neck, but I also wish I could bring this medal right round your neck. So before we move too far down that ridiculous rabbit hole of speedrunning, because that is a terrible, terrible place to go. But and before I show you the reviews, let's do your reviews. So we'll start with Foley. So Foley, for story out of 5, what do you think?
The story out of 5.
Yeah, story out of 5 for Cobra. What do you think?
I'm gonna say 2.
2. You're rating that very high there, in my opinion.
We
Well,
got our old rating anyway.
I'll
like
put
there
your
is
old rating. Sorry, I'll tell you what they were in a minute.
so there was a story, and it was had an interesting start. Then it just kind of faded away. So it was there, but then it went.
I mean, it still was a good start that it has a story.
Yeah.
I was instantly hooked when some bad guy parked in the disabled. I was like, okay, I want to see how bad this guy is, and he was terrible. But then it's like, so I found it. Actually, no, fuck, I'm gonna give it a 1. No, I've changed my mind. It's just terrible.
Okay. Change it to a 1.
It's
Okay.
like, like I said,
What was the
it's
original?
It was a 2.
It's 2, but it's just I'm giving it way too much credit for that. Like,
So, while we're in that negative spiral, the design of the film. How is the design?
what design?
What design? Is that a 0?
Is that possible on this? I mean, I give it a 1. That's still something. That's still... What design, though? There was dialogue which makes no sense. Then there's a music montage. There's a chase, and then it ended.
Oh dear.
It did nothing for the plot.
So, on that subject, character. How much character did the film have?
Oh, God.
Is this also going to be a 1?
I feel like giving it... Like, I want to give it a 0. It's like, technically, it's just...
0, locked in. Very good. Okay.
It's just Dirty Harry, but it's just, like, trying to be cool, but then it just doesn't have the coolness.
That is the lowest score so far. And I just want to bear in mind, you gave The Magnificent 7 from 1960 an 11 out of 15.
Because they okay, although it's a remake, at least they actually tried to have
That
a story.
wasn't, I mean, oh yeah, that was a remake. That's fair, yeah.
Like, but the fact it just saw, again, it's just like a kid that's seen an awesome film and I want to do that. But then they just don't realise the actual things that made the film good they saw. It was like, I just can't stand it.
2
See, one thing that
out of
bugs me-
15.
Eh?
2. That's a 2 out of 15.
I'm not mad about that. I think my dad spent money on that film, and and I think he should get a refund.
Okay. I love how that conversation would just go. Just be there like, yes, sorry, my dad wants a refund for this movie that I bought. Oh, could you put him on the phone? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry, here's his urn of ashes. Can you call him on the phone, please?
Just there. It's like, go on,
Go on, have a go.
go on. He's not in a talkative mood anymore because he's seen a terrible film.
He's been burned by this film.
I hope you're happy. This film is taking away the man, the father.
He's not the man that he used to be. He's not even a shell of his former self. Let's stop joking about Foley's dead dad now. Let's move on from that. So, Sam, out of 5 for story.
What did I put for my other ones? I need some little place to compare.
So, for
Story, I would
Fairy
say
Tale, I've got a 7 out of 10. And for Doom, I have a 1.
10 out of 10.
Just 7 out of 15, sorry. I haven't got the individual scores for Legal Blonde. It might be in this one.
I'd say probably a 4. They clearly put quite a bit of effort into it. It mostly makes sense. It's got some cool stuff in there as well. If you ignore the twins, Snake's twin, he got all the recessive genes. Snake got all the dominant genes. Intentionally.
What?
If you ignore that sort of bullshit, yeah, it's cool.
Jesus Christ. Okay, gameplay. What do you reckon for gameplay?
Gameplay, if it's just the stealth, it'd be like 4 or 5. The combat stuff drags it down, so like, let's go with a 3. probably.
Fair enough. And considering you liked the aesthetic of it quite a lot earlier, are we going to put a 4 or 5 for design, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's one of the two. Can I put decimals?
Unfortunately, I will not accept decimals. It'll have to be a whole number, I'm afraid.
Yeah, in that case, probably a 4. There's a lot of cool things they do, little things you can pick up on, little mechanics that you didn't know were there, that sort of thing. But
Right. So, interestingly, we have the lowest rated film that Foley's put on this list, and the highest rated game that Sam has put on this list.
Yeah. I mean, can you really expect otherwise with the games I've played?
I mean, to be fair, what I was going to say is Fairy Tale, fair enough. That was a game I played when I was younger, and it's mentally weird. You rated Doom, a very influential game, a 6 out of 15.
You know what? I enjoyed Fairy Tale more than Doom.
Wow. Okay, Mike.
Oh,
Go on.
really?
Fair enough.
That's why you gave the money back to the mayor.
Yeah.
Enjoy this.
Thanking him.
Thank you.
Just
Uh,
honestly,
a new saying.
I genuinely think that was probably the funniest part of that podcast. Just the bit where you're just there like, oh, the king gave you some money, and I accidentally gave it back. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Oh,
God. I was laughing while editing that bit. That's great.
Well, that's something for nothing.
I think I just finished playing it, or doing that bit when we had the thing, so it was pretty fresh.
That's fair.
So how
You know,
outraged?
So, if I have a quick look. So I'm going to show you some silly reviews that I found. Not all of them are necessarily silly, just some of them are reviews that I have found. First, we'll go with Metal Gear. 'Cause I think that's still quite fresh in our minds, and I want to save some of the most ridiculous reviews that I've ever found for Cobra to last, because I think that's worth the wait.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Cool. So I tried to find balance for these reviews. What I was trying to do is to try to find some positive reviews, and I try to find some negative reviews, just so we can look at both sides. Problem is, with Metal Gear, there's barely any negative reviews, which is a good and a bad thing. I could not find any review below a 3 on any site that I looked at. I could not find any 1s, and I could not find any 2.
I assume these reviews came out kind of when it came out, right?
These 2 reviews I'm looking at first, I've got one for 2019 and one for 2017.
Okay.
The 2019 review is by Brendo214. The review is, never before have I ever been as frustrated by a game than with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
One-line review, single line, that's fair. And the next review is from April the 9th, 2017, by a person named Broyax. And it reads as follows. Le succès de Metal Gear Solid est à mon un effet positif. Sans lui, nous n'aurions douce jamais le Splinter Cell.
Oh.
Don't worry, I'm gonna.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop reading it now. To give credit to it, it does have actually translated it. I have looked into it. To give credit with where it's due, it talks about how Metal Gear, they don't like Metal Gear, but Metal Gear is a positive thing overall because of what it led to later.
Yeah.
So this one is one of the only low-rated reviews I could find on IMDb, which is a 4 out of 10.
Right.
And the review is titled "The Valley of Gameplay" by McGoo.
Right.
I won't go over all of it, but it's like 15 minutes of the kind of adventure puzzle game solving that I could give or take, were followed by about 20 minutes of cinema that could be skipped if you wanted to be utterly clueless about your next action.
Not wrong, but I enjoyed most of the cutscenes.
Yeah.
You can skip them, especially when it's before a fucking boss fight. You keep fucking dying.
Yeah. Some of the actual gameplay was neat and some was terrible. I think you agree with that, I think?
Yeah.
And the voice acting was great and particularly notable in my mind, the memorable and hilarious Revolver Ocelot. Control the bullets. I make them go where I want.
Yeah.
I don't think I've said that correctly because they've spelt it as in A-H. But I think that's because of the accent. I think he's got a particularly Texan accent. Or something like that. Control the bullets, or something like that.
No, it was
and
not bad. I think it was
Psychomantis.
supposed to be the first one.
Right.
Psychomantis was pretty great.
Yeah. Overall, the VR missions were the best part of the game because they truly focused on stealth.
Yeah, I didn't play this.
And that's all there is to this game. Let's hope Square, Konami, and others realise that their mistake and that movies don't kill the video game star. And the reason that this review is so interesting to me is this review came out in 2001. So this was still when Metal Gear was, I'd say, relatively in its infancy. Still quite new on the block.
3 years. Yeah.
So it's still quite good. And then here's another one, which is on the other end of the spectrum. And I would have ignored this because I would just assumed, yeah, this just looks like it's going to be a general glowing review sort of thing. Yeah? It's 9 out of 10. The review came out in 1999, so this was very, very recent, by Jess24. And it reads, "This is the greatest video game ever made. Although I always feel uneasy when I say that, because it is basically a movie in every sense. The dialogue, acting, plot, cinematography. It all puts most of the bullshit Hollywood is churning out to shame. It's frightening, sad, funny, and a lot more. The images are truly amazing. If it was a movie, it would be my favourite." And just that last line of, if it was a film, it'd be the best film. And I'm there like,
Yeah.
what? No. The plot's nonsensical.
Nah, it's great.
What's not to understand? They just want to nuke Russia if they don't get their money. Like,
Yeah.
But
and also,
Sam doesn't even remember if it's Russia or not.
Yeah, but they changed to nuke in China later on, so that's the reason.
Oh.
I think they want Pepsi next time as well.
Yeah.
They didn't actually do
Yeah,
it.
this next one is a review. It's on Honest Gamers. It is a long review. But I just want to read it's the, oh god, I've just realised I'm already topping 1,700 words and I've not even got around to Hal fucking Emmerich yet.
That's what I so how many words is this shit? Why is it giving me characters only? That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they gave it a 1 out of 5. 1.5 out of 5, rather.
They're a bit
Which is-
too honest, were they?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know when this review came
my
out.
notes on it was
2014.
1,900 words, and I have quite a few pages I haven't actually typed up.
1,900 words?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And obviously that's not in proper like sentences and stuff, so it'd be more.
Yeah.
Like,
This review is interesting, so I would advise giving it a go. It's by Gary Hartley. Came out in 2014. It's an interesting and quite funny review, but it is very, I want to say, critical, but not critical in a, oh, that's fair criticism way. Critical in a, I found this very annoying, so I'm going to talk about it, as well as this is an actual good criticism thing.
yeah.
Like, it calls it out for a lot of sexualization of characters, which, fair enough. But then it also calls out some weirder shit.
There's this, I don't really call it sexualization, but Snake just like randomly flirts with women,
Yeah.
which is quite funny. Just
Yeah.
it's
Did you
just like,
powers?
the first time
Yeah.
he meets them is like, I didn't expect a scientist to be so cute. Shit like that. So, okay, thanks, Snake.
And then I've got 2 Steam reviews. These Steam reviews are interesting. And the reason that these are interesting is I had to be very particular with the Steam reviews because on Steam, Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2 were released in a port. And most of the negative reviews, which is why I was so careful, are because the port is shit.
Yeah.
It's a very bad port. And
Obviously,
most of
I
the reviews
paid
talk about that.
£16 on Steam and got this port, so for this 20-year-old game, 26-year-old game, and so obviously I know all about this.
Bullshit.
What do you mean? Of course I did.
Yeah, of course you.
I didn't have
of course.
to awkwardly add it as a non-Steam game and then use like desktop big picture mode bullshit to get my controller to actually be detected by the game or anything like that. That's also why I don't know the exact playtime because it's recorded by Steam.
Yeah.
As a Steam game, of course.
Yes, that's a Steam game. Cool. Cool. And so one of these reviews is You Will Die a Lot. This is by, I don't actually have the name of this person on it. I didn't get this one. That's on my bad, but it's on 2023. You Will Die a Lot. Also, I think Kojima has a fetish with keycards. But anyways, I love the aesthetic and atmosphere of these 2 MSX games.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
Currently trying to beat MG1, but this game is hella unforgiving. Only being able to save in elevators doesn't exactly help either. All in all, a cool debut for what's to come. This will probably hit with 2 T's, nice on the Steam Deck too. All of that review was in all caps.
I have no idea what he's talking about with the elevators.
Yeah, I don't know.
From what I was thinking, it was any time you go into a room, it does like a little checkpoint, and then you can just save whenever and then come back to that checkpoint at the start of the room, which means you can go into a room, do shit in it, leave, go back in, and you'll have a checkpoint with all the stuff you picked up. Sort of thing.
I love the idea that person just only thought you could save in elevators, and he could save everywhere else. So we're just like, why can you only save in elevators? And people are like, oh, you
Maybe that is the case. I doubt it, though. I don't think the version of it I had that many changes.
Yeah. This next review I have is from someone called Robber on Steam. They recommend it, and they say, tedious military Zelda games that are pretty good, and also I hate them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Nah. Well, yeah, maybe. I looked a couple of things up, just for certain boss gimmicks which made like no fucking sense.
That's
that sort of thing.
I don't blame you.
But, yeah, for the most part, I think it's probably just about doable. It helps that you can just ring up people whenever, and then maybe like, Snake, throw a fucking chef grenade at his face, or some bullshit like that. Yeah.
Those are all the reviews that I have collated for Metal Gear Solid. Some of them I thought were funny, some I thought were interesting. I did not read the name of this review before, and I am looking forward to reading that one out in a moment. So this review is titled, I Don't Deal with Psychos, I Put Them Away, as we get to the Cobra reviews. And the review is by a user called Nazi Fighter David. Okay.
The Fighter David is a Nazi, nice.
Yes. This time, Sylvester Stallone is against a bunch of axe-wielding serial killers with nylons on their faces who terrorize the LA Knights. When a fashion model happens to see the ugly face of sadistic psychopath Brian Thompson, Ingrid, Bridget Nielsen, becomes the main target of the secret New World Society, stopping at nothing to slain her. To slain her, okay? Yeah. I guess they're just a new world? They might just be called that? I don't know. I don't think the film explains it at all.
It just said, we're going to be a new world, and then I just don't know what they're trying. They're riding around on motorcycles, and then just killing people. Like, I don't get why they're even aiming for these people.
I imagine like a week later, they're like, wait, what? You thought we're called a new world? No, we're the Axe Gang. What the hell did you get that
The
from?
Axe Gang.
We're just the Axe Gang, lads.
You don't see our axes?
I swear they don't carry any axes.
Show like a roll up their sleeve and there's a tattoo of an axe. It's like, look, axe! We've got ourselves tattooed with it.
My bad.
It's like, and they just do that, and just while he's like talking to the female police officer who's clearly the mole, and just they're like, "This really good tattoo you've got." Oh, thanks. It's of an axe, and then they just move on. Like it genuinely, if they made it more of a parody of what it actually was, I think it would be so much more entertaining. Of just making it even more clear that she's the mole. Just like the idea of just her sitting down at the desk and behind them the TV accidentally turns on and it's like a David Attenborough and the mole is a very interesting, and her just turning the TV off behind her. I feel like you could do that. That would have made the film so much more entertaining.
But, like, she can even have like the stuff they wear in their face, like the tights or something.
Yeah,
I could just see her forgetting about it, going to the office, and then he'd be like, "You got something on your face," and then she's like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah,
and then move on still. It's like, "Oh, that's weird," but okay.
God, I haven't finished with you yet.
Hand.
Yeah. He says, Lieutenant Marion Cabretti, Stallone, in his gunmetal grey classic Mercury, and armed with guns, knives, grenades, and firearms. Are guns and firearms different things?
I guess guns are a subset of firearms.
Yeah.
Is assigned to protect the statuesque blonde. Now, it's the final line of this review that gets me. It says, the movie is too violent and too bloody and contains one of the most interesting car chase sequences ever filmed. Just the flip-flop of
Why is that an and?
Yeah, I don't know. It's violent and bloody and got a really interesting car fighting. Thank you very much. Okay.
I mean, maybe they're saying in a good way. It's too violent.
Yeah, and that review was for a 5 out of 10.
Too violent, man.
It really isn't that violent, though. I don't find it that. It's just people shooting at each other, but like, I don't know.
Okay, this review is by Wizard8.
There's a lot of music.
This next one.
Okay.
It says, awesomely bad and hilarious. This is from 1999. The other one I don't think said, but I probably might have just missed it. This review's a little bit longer, so I'll just pick out some of the more entertaining parts. One of them is... says, Robinson's liberal character just seems to be in the movie so he'll get punched at the end. Cobra is a particularly repulsive character. The first glimpse of him shows a close-up of his 5 o'clock shadow, uncombed hair, and a match in his mouth. Ugh. The bikers are stupid, even for bikers. Why do they clank axes above their heads? Why don't they get out of the way when Stallone machine guns from the truck near the end?
It sounds like a safety video.
Movie also contains some of the most blatant product plugs in history for Pepsi, and you didn't mention this one earlier, but apparently an entire Toys R Us commercial plays as Cobra just watches it out.
Oh my god! Yeah, is this when he's like cutting his pizza with scissors?
Yeah, they just play an entire Toys R Us commercial. Like, you know, that's the perfect thing that you want to show during your 18-rated movie, a Toys R Us commercial. Just so the adults watching it can go, oh, that looks like a good toy that I need to get my kid, who I've clearly left alone while watching this movie and abandoned for the moment.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Such weird placement in this film.
It should be noted, however, that the cinematography isn't bad, and a few action sequences are acceptable as well. Not good, acceptable.
We can say acceptable. No, just acceptable.
Marvellous. Couldn't be any better.
God. Oh, this one's a good one. This is a good review. This one's a review by someone called Damien Phelps. This is quite a new review, comparatively. This one's from 2021. I actually hate myself for liking this movie so much. Fundamentally, this is, for all intensive purposes, a pretty awful movie. The acting is deplorable, and the story is not much better. I like the persona of Cobra and the gun. And I love the car. I could have watched 90 minutes of the car. It would have been a much better version of the film. It doesn't say the car chase or anything, it just says the car.
Yeah, maybe it's just a really nice car.
But do they mean the actual car, or is this the Toys R Us advert? No.
If the Toys R Us advert has a car in it, then they just do that on loop.
That I could actually agree with. Like, yeah, I'd rather just see that just put in the car.
Yeah.
But I love the fact they actually didn't really compliment it, though. They're like, although it's about they say they hate it.
That would be
Oh,
sick.
it gets better.
Imagine.
It gets better.
We've got a film, right? But in every shot in the background is like it's the Toys R Us advert on like a TV screen, and it's just continuously playing, and it's like seamless from shot to shot. That would be so great.
I mean, that would be
really eerie
great
for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a psychological horror, and it's just
Yeah.
anti-capitalism or something like that. That'd be quite funny. It's just like subtle anti-capitalism. But the reason
from Futurama. Buy it.
Yeah, the reason I love this review is because they go on to say, I own a copy of this movie! ! I have never recommended it to anyone, ever.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, that's fair.
Perfect.
Best scene, the supermarket assault. Next up, we got a review. This one's another IMDb one. This one is called Root Beer Brains. Synopsis. It made me want to kick my own ass. You can't tell me the first time you saw Stallone do a complete 180 in that pimped out ride, hanging out that sweet looking gun out of the window and knock off a few caps at the bad guy as he drove in reverse, that you didn't get a little tingly in your gut in a good way. People, I think we need to have a come to Jesus about this movie. I can't believe I actually saw such low approval stats from all age brackets. Let me just holler at the children of the 80s. What the hell are you thinking? Stallone and Schwarzenegger were bigger than life back then, and there's no love. Now there's nothing but CGI, bigger explosions, crazier guns, fake boobies, more authentic-looking aliens, all the things I like in movies. Wait a second. You know, I've realised that Stallone will never win Best Actor. I've realised Stallone will never die. Probably. He's in such damn good shape. And I also realised that his face will never straighten up, so he can talk correctly. But there's one thing I do know. I give this movie a 10. And I hope it feels like it's a giant peanut butter sandwich you just ate without a glass of milk anywhere in sight. It's
that
mental.
review is amazing.
Like, it's mental. What gets me is he's there like, he's like, oh yeah, Stallone and Schwarzenegger were bigger than life back then. And I'm like, yeah, because I had better films.
But it's just the fact he says there's no love. Then instantly he goes into ripping into Stallone. It's like his face I never straightened.
I don't. And it's a 10 out of 10 review. It's not even like it's a 5 out of 10 review where he's like riffing on it lovingly or whatever. He's there like, oh, here's the good points and the bad points. It's a glowing review overall with a 10 out of 10. And he's just there like, eh.
That is amazing. Oh. I wanted to write a book if the review's that good.
Yeah, the two next reviews that I've got, one of them is from 1986, and one of them is about the collector's edition. The collector's edition The main part that I remember about reading it is, as far as the story, action, pretty much all the other film's content, Cobra is the dumbest, most indulgent possible iteration of the America has become a cesspool of crime subgenre, popularised by Death Wish and executed with an actual brain by Robocop. Even before the pride of place given with the framed photo of President Ronald Reagan in Cobra's office, it's already been made clear that this is little more than an uber-conservative, strong arm of the law style fascism. A montage of Cobra tracking down leads shows him questioning white witnesses and roughing up black one confirms that, like all similar worldviews, it's also racist as hell. That was the main part that I remember about this one. This review was it was by David Bax, and it was in 2019, updated 2020. Okay, and it's on Battleship Pretension. So that's probably why it's critical.
Is that
One of the comments says, there was nothing racist about this film. At all. I mean...
Is that it?
That's what that comment says. And one of these scenes is, which scene depicts strong arm of the law style fascism? All of them? The one where the police officer shoots people and not arresting them? That one? When Cobra stopped murderers who were in the process of actually killing people by not arresting them? Yeah. That's pretty fascist. Strong arm of the law. You're supposed to arrest them, give them a fair trial, and then sort them out. But yeah, this one is the review from 1986. It's on the Washington Post, so take that for what it will. And it's by Paul Antanasio. There's a vogue in Hollywood for admiring Sylvester Stallone, which generally expresses itself in such wondrously duplicitous phrases as, he really knows his audience, or he understands his own appeal, or, in strongest form, he really knows how to make those kind of movies. And the movie is such a textbook example of an exploitation cop movie that you can outline it like a schoolboy, the easy reference. And here's one of them. It's Good Man, Bad System. There are scenes lifted almost directly from Dirty Harry in which Cobra hollers at the namby-pambies who run the police department by the book while a crazed killing cult is on the loose. The bimbo is prey, and it's Stallone at the top. They put, which is, poor Cobra, he's so busy catching psychos no woman will put up with him. Now one will. And this is where it says, since Nielsen is Sly's wife, fans will recognise the trope as self-referential. And fight in warehouse. This scene has become du rigueur in contemporary thrillers. Sly kills the killers, impales the last killer in a giant hook, and sends him into a blast furnace. Yep.
That's a stylish way to go.
Yeah. That soundtrack is so poorly mixed that between the music and the sound effects, you can't make out what Stallone is saying. This is a blessing. If you don't believe me, consider these samples of Stallone banter. Here's one that you mentioned earlier. It's to his partner. You know what your problem is? You're too violent. This guy, goes around shooting people to bits, and then has the nerve to tell his partner he's too violent. With 4 exclamation points, that is. And to his girl, I always wanted a tougher name myself. Like what? Alice. Get it? Alice isn't a tough name at all. And then to a crook, you're the disease, and I'm the cure. Other diseases, however, would appear to be incurable. Yep, that's that review. And finally, we come to the best review I have ever read.
Here we go.
I just want to reiterate, this is the review that made me want to start doing this podcast in the first place.
Are you serious?
Seriously. This is a review by a gentleman, I believe, called Senin777. This review came out in 2000.
Senin.
And you will probably remember this review after I start telling it to you, Foley. It is a glorious mess of a review. It reads, beautiful script. I'm very bad in English. I'm from Russia, but I'm fond of Stallone and don't keep silently. This film, classics. It don't have spare. All in it working for result. It's action in last type. In Russia, we have a say. All genius. Simply, it's about this film. Cobra. As your picture at the wall. Nice for your eyes. Sorry for my bad English. Now I'm going to gym, and that's spelled G-I-M. I want to be strong as Cobretti, Arnold and Van Damme and Seagal, S-I-G-A-L. Stupid before Stallone. They never made such a beautiful script. And you're like, what have I read? It's mental. I love that one. so much.
And it's the most bad films.
So the fact he just said, he liked it because he just wanted to go to the gym. It made him want to just get bigger.
It's the fact that...
He says they have a saying that's specifically about this film.
Yeah, you see why I love this review. It's mental. It starts off with, like, I'm bad in English and I'm from Russia. And then it says, it doesn't say I'm a fan of Stallone. It says, I'm fun of Stallone and don't keep silently. This film classics. It don't have spare. And just... all genius. Simply, it's about this film, Cobra. As your picture at the wall, nice for your eyes. It's just, there's a difference between being bad at English and just being mental. Like, and then he goes off and starts...
That is such a quote of the year. There's bad at English, and there's being mental.
And then he apologises for his bad English in the script and goes off on a tangent about how he's going to the gym.
Yeah.
In the middle of the review, and then he mocks Arnold, Van Damme and Seagal as they're stupid before Stallone and have never made such a beautiful script. I love this review because it's mental.
I feel like framing this review, put it on my wall.
That is
so
good.
That is beautiful. That is nice for the eyes. Like, nice to look at, yeah.
The film,
Picture on wall.
no.
Good for your eyes.
Yeah. The film, no. This, amazing. A magnificent review, frankly.
What's his name again?
Oh, God, I closed it. Let me find these. It's like Senin777 or something like that?
Checking.
Senin777. That is the only review he has done.
Well, yeah, he hasn't got a room in his heart for anything else.
Yeah, Cobra is such a beautiful script in his eyes. He had to leave a review for it. He went to the gym and he never came back.
He probably walked uphill both ways to get into it, actually.
Yeah, it's just mad lad.
I think maybe his country was getting threatened by a terrorist called Foxhounds. And,
yeah.
Oh dear.
They want $1 billion and...
I mean, if it helps, this review came out in the year 2000.
Oh, yes.
So it was close enough. My God.
Maybe, did they release the name as my wife had said anything?
I just want to read out for you, Foley. I've looked up this score on IMDb. It's at 5.8. Out of
That's
10.
too generous.
But I'm pretty sure the Rotten Tomatoes score was pretty bad.
Rotten, you could say.
Rotten.
18%. 18% from critics, 43% from audience. So it still rates lower on here than it does on IMDb.
What was your score, Foley? Was it 2 out of 15 or something?
Yeah, it was 2 out of 15.
It's just nothing. It's just one of those.
13%, that's pretty close.
It's just.
Yeah.
I was just so relieved when it finished.
Yeah.
Thank God, it literally, as it did, just ended. I'm like, oh, okay. So,
I mean,
no.
For me, what makes it more entertaining is I volunteer for a place, and normally it's quite quiet. The first time I watched that, I was just volunteering there. I just watched it on my laptop, and I was watching such a violent film in a public place where people could just look over and just see Stallone being a bit of a tosser, to be honest. It's such a wanky film that I enjoyed for it being stupid.
It's just a vehicle for him. They put it like to make him look cool again.
Thank you.
Because I got on one of my notes.
You say it again. It came out when he was still cool.
Yeah, he did rocket. But I've literally got on my note. I don't know what most of these are referencing now because I just started bullet pointing.
That's fair.
But one says you're a good citizen. And I think this is a scene where it's like a person that always parks in his spot. And so he literally just drives into it. He's like, oh, what's wrong with you? And oh, I'm a cop. And oh, shit. So I think once they know who he is, yeah, like I think so later on, the person spots him, like, oh, I'll drive forward for you. So, oh, you're a good citizen. I'm like, no, because you're terrified. Like, you terrified the man. You drove into his car. I don't think he wants to do anything bad to you again. You just drove into it. It's like, that's my space.
What dickhead.
The dick. To be fair, with this guy, he cuts pizza with scissors. Of course, he's got to be a dick.
I
I cut
scissors,
pizza
damn
with
it.
scissors.
Yeah, but do you? But
I
do
haven't
you
got time
cut
for
it?
a fucking roller.
You know the pointy bit though of the pizza. Do you cut that off?
The pointy
No.
bit.
What?
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. So
he
cut
cuts
it
off
in.
the tips.
So yeah. So the pointy bit, he just cuts it off. I'm like, what is this man doing?
God, he
I think I
really
had
is
the
a
tip
monster.
fall off one the other day.
I saw that clip on Facebook or something. I thought that was like an 80s advert for pizza cutting, but it's just in the film. Just cuts off. I'm like, oh, this is actually in the film.
bizarre.
So, we get to a point, away from the terrifying pizza cutting and Toys R Us advert. That's how they show that you don't pay much attention to how Stallone eats pizza. That's how they've done it. But just so you're watching the Toys R Us advert going, oh, look at the advert, and ignoring the pizza. But yeah, we get to a point. You two, this is a much more easy connection than I think some of the others are. What do you two think the connection between these two properties are?
I want to play them.
You want to play them? You want to play Cobra, the film?
You
Yeah.
wanna play- I
Yeah. You not heard of playing a movie before? You hit play on it.
Okay. What do you think the connection is?
Can I just
Uh,
ask? Is this something to do with the characters?
It is something to do with the
Easy.
characters, yes.
Action hero.
So
So
I want to say that the main characters of both the game and the film are influenced by other characters.
Whilst that is a very good connection that I never saw before, considering that the original poster for the original Metal Gear was literally like the Escape from New York poster.
York.
That is not the connection, but that is a very good connection that I did not realise. It's a very, very good connection, and probably better than the connection that I put in, but it's not the connection I had in mind.
there's gonna be some pretentious bullshit about how they're like boring characters.
No, it's not that. I wouldn't know for Metal Gear. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple.
They like dropping one-liners.
Is it
No.
very... Okay, like last... Have you mentioned it at all? Like, have you mentioned the connection?
No, just Sam. What's the main character
Yeah.
called?
Oh, they're both snakes.
Yes.
For fuck's sake. I
Uh,
hate you. You just watched that.
I made you watch all of that dodgy as hell movie just to.
yeah, there's
Two page of notes. Only because his name's Cobra.
here's the thing. The main antagonist is called Liquid Snake, by the way. So there's 3.
Yeah, but I was
You
thinking
guys
more the
want to do a quick
protagonist.
read along?
Sure.
Here we
No.
go.
Fair play. Oh,
All right, I stuck it in
I'm
chat.
furious for words right now.
So this is a conversation that happens between Meryl, who is a female character, probably the heroine, I guess, and Snake.
Oh, God. Can you two act it out? Have you got the script?
Oh God.
I've stuck it in general.
Cool. So
Like, in general.
Well, he wants to
just
be Meryl,
before
he
we
wants to
say
be Snake.
bye, we'll do this. I will be Meryl. Who wants to be Snake?
I
Oh.
can be Snake, I suppose.
Okay, Sam
Yeah,
Snake.
you got
That's
a good
fine.
voice for it.
Who's first?
Meryl. No, but I was raised by many people.
What you like?
I've never been interested in anyone else's life.
So you are all alone, just like Mantis said.
Other people just complicate my life.
You're a sad, lonely man.
Yeah,
That accent went all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
it's great.
Mental.
And
Oh, I
Snake
love it.
had
Cool.
bullshit on that. Great.
So, while we were, just before we did that, I did send you both the next assignment, as it were,
Yeah.
in your little channels. Don't say them out loud.
Oh, Fairy Tale again.
Yes, fairy tale again. Well done, Sam. And
Oh.
Foley, you have to watch Cobra again. I wonder whether if the review's going to be any better this time.
Keep
I-
doing it until you get a good review.
You have to know everything about this film.
You'll have to be able to recite it word for
When
word.
you've watched it like 20 times, you actually see how good it really is.
You'll see.
Now
but
I'm off to gym.
this- to gym. Foley would just be like, no, I'm off to gym. Beautiful for your eyes.
I started going to the gym and I started drinking Pepsi to really appreciate this film. I've even got sunglasses as well, so I've got them on.
Those are
So,
Oh, this is so long.
I'll park in a disabled spot as well to really get into it.
Perfect, yeah, just good. And you also need to become a police officer just so you can flash your badge at people, just to get smashed out of the way.
And tell people you're too violent. You need to stop eating junk food. Why I cut pizza in those weirdest way ever?
Oh shit, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He drinks
Maybe
Pepsi
he's saying it from experience.
yeah, but he doesn't learn from it though, does he? Like,
I need to be violent. I'm the cure.
I'm the cure. So I'm gonna put people on meat hooks and make them burn.
That's not how you cure meat. You need to be smoked with the soul.
That's how you cure meat.
I was gonna just the final thing to say before we go. Just it's the very end of the podcast. We're just about to finish, but I'm trying to see if I can refer the skits that I do as things that are in the podcast. And because of that last line there, Foley, the audience members are already going to have heard it by this point. But we're going to have a Stallone drinking Pepsi commercial. So thanks for that, man. And I have to apologise on Foley's behalf for everyone who has been listening. Thank you for listening, and fuck, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the podcast. You can find Foley at his YouTube channel, Mr. Dopey Foley, and Sam at his house, Alaska.